In the heart of Mbugua, a bustling village in East Africa, lived a man named Jafar. He was known throughout the village as a kind and hardworking farmer. Jafar had a beautiful wife named Amara, who was admired for her beauty and grace. Their marriage, however, had recently become the subject of village gossip. Jafar and Amara had been married for 10 years. They shared a simple but happy life. Every morning, Jafar would wake up early to tend to their crops, while Amara would prepare the food and take care of their small home. Despite their modest means, they were content with what they had. One evening, as Jafar was returning from the fields, he overheard two women from the village whispering, "Did you hear about Amara? They say she's been meeting a man in secret," one of the women said. Jafar's heart sank. He trusted Amara deeply, but the thought of her with another man haunted him. Jafar decided to keep his worries to himself, but the rumors continued. He couldn't concentrate on his work, and his mind was filled with doubt. Finally, he came up with a plan. He would pretend to be blind, hoping to catch Amara in the act and find out the truth. Jafar spent the next few days practicing his act. He stumbled around the house, bumping into furniture and fumbling with objects. Amara, worried, asked him what was wrong. "I'm not sure," Jafar replied, "but I think my eyes are failing me." Amara was shocked and immediately became more attentive, guiding him around the house and helping him with his daily tasks. But Jafar noticed something strange. Whenever she thought he couldn't see, Amara would sneak out of the house, leaving for hours at a time. One night, after dinner, Amara said she was going to visit her sister. Jafar pretended to be fast asleep. As soon as she left, he quietly followed her. He watched as Amara met a tall, handsome man named Mbugua by the river. They talked and laughed under the moonlight, and Jafar's heart broke. Jafar returned home, his mind racing. He felt betrayed, but he needed to be sure. The next day, he continued his act. When Amara returned, he asked her, "How was your visit with your sister?" Amara hesitated, then replied, "It was good. She sends her regards." Jafar felt a surge of anger and sadness. He wanted to confront Amara right then and there, but he decided to wait. He needed more evidence, something undeniable. Over the next few weeks, Jafar followed Amara every time she left the house. He saw her meet Mbugua multiple times. They would sit by the river, whispering and laughing. Jafar's heart ached, but he remained determined to catch them in the act. One evening, as the sun was setting, Jafar followed Amara once again. This time, he brought his friend, Juma, as a witness. They hid behind some bushes near the river and watched as Amara and Mbugua embraced. Jafar's anger boiled over. He stepped out from behind the bushes and shouted, "Amara, what are you doing?" Amara and Mbugua froze, shocked to see Jafar standing there. Juma stepped forward, ready to support his friend. Jafar's eyes burned with a mix of anger and sadness as he faced his wife. "Amara," he said, his voice trembling, "how could you do this to me?" Amara looked down, tears streaming down her face. Mbugua stepped back, unsure of what to do. Juma stood by Jafar's side, watching the scene unfold. The village had always looked up to Jafar and Amara as a model couple, and now their secret was out in the open. Amara stood frozen, her eyes wide with shock and fear. Mbugua, caught off guard, stammered, "Jafar, I didn't know she was your wife." His words, meant to deflect blame, only deepened Jafar's anger. Jafar took a deep breath, trying to steady his shaking hands. "Amara, how could you betray me like this, after everything we've been through together?" His voice was low, filled with hurt. Amara, tears streaming down her cheeks, whispered, "I'm so sorry, Jafar. I didn't mean for it to happen this way. It just happened." Jafar's mind flashed back to the early days of their marriage, the laughter they shared, the dreams they built together. The memories felt like a cruel mockery of the present. Juma, sensing the intensity of the moment, placed a hand on Jafar's shoulder. "Let's go home, Jafar. We need to talk this through, away from here." Jafar nodded slowly. He turned to Amara, his voice barely a whisper. "Come home, Amara. We need to decide what happens next." Amara and Mwangi exchanged a pained look before she silently followed Jafar and Juma back to their home. The walk back was filled with a heavy silence, the only sound being the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. When they reached their house, Jafar and Amara sat down in their small living room. Juma stood by the door, giving them space, but ready to step in if needed. Jafar took a deep breath and began, "Amara, I pretended to be blind because I wanted to find out the truth. I heard the rumors and I couldn't believe it. But seeing you with Mwangi, it broke my heart." Amara's voice trembled as she spoke. "Jafar, I know I hurt you. I was lonely, and Mwangi was there. But I never meant to hurt you. I didn't know how to tell you." Jafar's anger softened into a deep sadness. "Why didn't you talk to me, Amara? We could have worked through this together. You didn't have to hide it from me." Amara wiped her tears, looking at Jafar with remorse. "I was afraid, Jafar. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of what people would say. I was wrong, and I'm so sorry." Jafar sighed, the weight of the betrayal heavy on his shoulders. "Amara, trust is the foundation of our marriage. Without it, we have nothing. I don't know if I can ever trust you again." Amara reached out, taking Jafar's hand in hers. "Jafar, I want to rebuild our trust. I want to make things right. Please, give me a chance to prove that I can be the wife you deserve." Jafar looked into Amara's eyes, searching for sincerity. He could see the pain and regret etched on her face. "Amara, rebuilding trust won't be easy. It will take time and effort from both of us. But I'm willing to try, for the sake of our love and the life we've built together." Amara nodded, her eyes filled with hope. "Thank you, Jafar. I promise to be honest and open with you from now on. I will do whatever it takes to earn your trust again." Jafar squeezed her hand gently. "We will take it one day at a time, Amara. Let's start by being honest with each other and finding a way to heal." Joma, who had been quietly observing, stepped forward. "Jafar, Amara, I'm here to support you both. You have a long journey ahead, but I believe you can overcome this together." Jafar nodded, grateful for his friend's presence. "Thank you, Juma. We will need all the support we can get." As the night grew darker, Jafar and Amara sat together, talking and sharing their feelings. It was a difficult conversation, filled with tears and apologies, but it was a necessary step toward healing. In the days that followed, Jafar and Amara worked hard to rebuild their relationship. They spent more time together, talking openly about their fears and hopes. Amara ended her affair with Mwangi and focused on regaining Jafar's trust. The village watched with a mix of curiosity and admiration as Jafar and Amara worked to mend their broken bond. It was not an easy journey, but their love and determination gave them the strength to keep going. Months later, as the sun set over Mbugua, Jafar and Amara stood by the river where their painful journey had begun. They held hands, looking out at the water, reflecting on how far they had come. "Jafar," Amara said softly, "thank you for giving us another chance. I know it hasn't been easy, but I am grateful for your love and forgiveness." Jafar smiled, squeezing her hand. "Amara, we have faced many challenges, but we have also found a way to grow stronger together. I believe in us and our future." As they stood together, the village in the distance and the river flowing quietly beside them, Jafar and Amara knew that their journey was far from over. But they also knew that, together, they could overcome any obstacle that came their way.